Hello and welcome to Transformation Now. It's a part of SoaringHigher.rocks, and I'm excited today to talk to you about it's all about attitudes and discovering the awesome power that you have within you. Hi, I'm Rita Rocker Kraft, a published speaker, author, and trainer, and my heart is to really work with people on their self-image, self-esteem, communication skills, professional image, business etiquette, and career development programs. So really excited about talking to you today on these things that are so important to us as we grow and we overcome, especially now in these trying times that we're living in and with the global economy we live in. And so just want to talk to you about attitude again, like I did before. And I love this picture, and it shows a little dachshund, little wiener dog that is actually chasing a rhinoceros. Can you believe that? But this spunky little guy was saying, hey, I'm going for it. I don't care how big this thing is in front of me, I'm going for it. And so it is all about attitude. So we're going to talk about self-esteem, self-image, self-confidence, self-respect, all of those important things, not selfishness, but all of these other things that really direct us in the way that we're going to go in life. You know, seeing yourself as a confident, beautiful creature who you really are is so very important, and depending on how we grew up, a lot of times we don't see that in ourselves. And want to make it very clear, though, that we are made in God's image. And that's precious, and that's strong, and that's beautiful. We all are, every one of you. You know, true self-confidence, value, and worth never comes from social media or society's definition of what a success or a confident person is, or anyone's opinion. It never will. So if people's opinions have steered you a certain direction in your life, I want to encourage you again. You're made in God's image. How powerful is that? So no matter what you see on social media, no matter what you see on TV, no, that's not true self-image, self-confidence, and how capable you really are. You know, Barbie dolls throughout the years were fun for people, but at the same time, I think they kind of put this image in the mind, oh, I have to have this perfect body and this perfect boyfriend and this perfect car and these perfect clothes. And so I was actually kind of happy when they brought out Cabbage Patch dolls many years ago, because it helped us look at a different kind of an image and not think we had to be this gorgeous, perfect, wealthy person, as far as women are concerned, that you would see in the Barbie dolls. Reality shows, oh my goodness, there's every kind of reality show, whether it's a positive one, a negative one, pardon me, but a sleazy one. There's all kinds of reality shows, and so many times we could sit there for hours and watch these people, watch their lives. The wealthy ones, oh, they have this gorgeous home, they have these gorgeous clothes, cars, everything again. And no, that's not helping us. So I just want to say, hey, the time that we could spend watching reality shows could be getting out, meeting people, learning new things on the internet, taking classes, and really building us up to be who we want to be, who we deserve to be, rather than sitting there letting our lives go by watching someone else's life. So that's so important. In magazines, any of that thing, that's not who we are. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing today a lot of memes, quotes, pictures with you, because I think they're so important and I think they're so motivating. You know, my testimony has all been from the School of Hard Knocks. I've shared it before, so I'm not going to say much about it today, but you know, growing up poor, feeling like I was worthless, and being in a lot of domestic violence and the pain that that caused, and not knowing sometimes even where I was going to live or what I was going to eat, and the drugs and the alcohol, self-destruction because I didn't think I was worth anything. And you know, being a caregiver for loved ones. And so there's so many things in the School of Hard Knocks that can steer our life a certain way and maybe knock us down for a little bit, but we don't stay there. We do not stay there at all. And so I just want to encourage you. I have one meme here that I read. It says, life has knocked me down a few times. It showed me things I never wanted to see. I experienced sadness and failures, but one thing for sure, I always get up. And like I shared in a couple messages ago, that the year I was Mrs. Nebraska, right after I went to the Mrs. America pageant, which was a struggle in itself, my husband died from a long bout with cancer. And so while I still held that title, I went to speak at a women's conference. And these ladies came up to me afterwards and they said, wow, your message wasn't anything like we expected. And I said, well, what were you expecting? Oh, you know, talk about the pageant and all the things that you did, which I wasn't able to do too many things because of him being so sick. But I said, no, my message is about when we fall down, when we get hurt, we get back up, we dust our knees off, and we get back in the race. And that has happened over and over again. And for some of you watching, you know, I know you're going through a lot of things, but we get back up. We don't let anyone, any circumstance keep us down. We get back up. And I'll be sharing some more stories like I did before of famous failures or people who said, no, this isn't going to get me down. If I don't have any arms, I don't have any legs, whatever. I'm getting back up and I'm getting back in the race. You know, there's a picture I saw once, and it was a jewelry case where you put all kinds of, the valuable jewelry is behind the jewelry case. It's not out there on the little racks. So it says, if you're not being treated with love and respect, check your price tag, okay? The one that you've allowed to be put on you possibly. Perhaps you have marked yourself down. If it's you who tells people what you are worth by what you will accept. Remember, we allow or accept people to put something on us that determines our worth. No, we can't do that. We can't do that at all. We're too valuable. Get off the clearance rack and get behind the glass where the valuables are kept. Learn to value yourself, because if you don't, no one else will. And people do treat us the way we treat ourselves. And so we have to remember that, hey, I'm worth it. You know, it took me a lot of years to know, hey, I'm worth it. I'm worth being treated well and not in a demeaning way like before. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe you are, okay? So always remember that. You attract what you believe you are. And, you know, what I had to do several times is, God, would you please help me? Show me how I look through your eyes, because I didn't like what I saw when I looked in the mirror. So I said, help me see myself through your eyes. And I would encourage each one of you to do that, because what you can do is just sit quietly and really you can let God show you how you look through his eyes, because it's really special and it's confident, it's capable, it's very beloved. So think about that. And sometimes we have to do that with other people. God, help me to see that person through your eyes, because what I'm seeing is kind of hard to deal with right now. So think of that as well. Don't worry about those who talk behind your back. You know why? They're behind you for a reason. So think about that. They're behind me for a reason. That's why they're talking behind my back, because I'm ahead. I'm going forward. Maybe they're not. Maybe they don't like the fact that I'm going forward, but I am. So, hey, they're behind me. Think about that. It really gives you a good feeling when you do. You know, I saw this picture before, and some of you have probably seen it, and it shows, it's a cartoon, and it shows a cat. And the cat is adorable, and it's looking over into the mirror at its cute little self. But what it's actually painting is this big, tough tiger's head. Not the little cat, but the big tiger. And so it says, attract what you expect, reflect what you desire, become what you respect, mirror what you admire. So if we break that down, we attract what we expect to attract. And so if we have been treated poorly, we maybe expect that's what's going to happen to us the rest of our lives. And so what happens? We attract more of that. If we go, no, I am a valuable, beloved child. I'm worth everything. And so that's what then I will attract. I can remember when I stopped thinking of myself a certain way, I did not attract certain very destructive people to me anymore. And it was a real wake-up call one day when I finally realized that happened. And we can do that. We can do that. Reflect what you desire. If you desire to be treated well, with intelligence and with respect and kindness, all right, reflect that in how you treat other people, but also Are you going to back away from something that's not so good? You see it coming, follow red flags, and then reflect what you desire to have. A better partner, a better job, better friends, all of those things. Reflect that in you going back out to the world. Become what you respect, and that, of course, is who are the people that you respect? Think about that. What kind of people do you respect? And usually they're kind, they're caring, they're there for you, they have your back. And so you want to become what you respect in other people. And that means sometimes getting rid of a lot of anger, a lot of unforgiveness, maybe bitterness for things that have happened. But we don't respect people like that. Always become what you respect. And then mirror what you admire. What do you admire in other people? Think about it. Who are the people that you're drawn to? Become what you admire in them. And it builds up a really good relationship with other people. And you know, sometimes we literally have to pray that that God will give us new friends. I've had to do that a few times when my life, changed quite drastically. And I said, okay, God, please give me new friends. And He's faithful to do that. So if you need good friends, new friends, pray for it and watch it happen. It will. So again, mirror what you admire, and just know that people treat us the way we treat ourselves. So start loving yourself the way God loves you. You know, I talked about famous failures before, so I'm not going to go into that now, but I remember ones like Michael Jordan, went in his bedroom and cried after basketball in high school because they told him he'd never amount to anything. Walt Disney turned down one way or another, and Albert Einstein, and couldn't talk till he was almost 4 years old, and then his teacher said that he just wouldn't amount to much. Albert Einstein, go figure. So there was a saying that said, if you've never failed, you've never tried anything new. We all fail, and so we don't want to be angry with ourselves for doing that, but rather know, okay, I learned from this. Now I know never to do that again, so now I try my next step. And so always think of that failure, like Thomas Edison, like about 1,000 tries on the light bulb. Well, I just know I won't do that again because that doesn't work, so now I'm going on to my next step. And that's the way we need to look at failure. It's not permanent. It doesn't define who we are at all. It's just a stepping stone to get to the next step. Okay, I'm going to try this because that didn't work. Cool. And that's the way we really need to look at it. Learn from those stair steps and then move on. I love the pictures I see where it shows caterpillars and then it shows a butterfly next to it. Butterflies are beautiful, and we love to look at those, and they're delightful. And caterpillars are kind of weird and fuzzy and all those little legs, and they're kind of strange. Okay, so it says, just when the caterpillar thought the world was over, it became a beautiful butterfly. And it took several attempts. So when a caterpillar goes from a butterfly, it's not like, oh, I'm in this little thing and all of a sudden, here I go and I'm this beautiful butterfly. It literally melts down into a pile of goo. Okay, so sometimes we feel like we've been melted down into a pile of goo. It's like, oh, good Lord, I'm bound up in this thing and I'm a mess, and we feel that way sometimes too. So, but there's a skin, an outer skin a layer where actually little feelers, little wings and stuff are, but the body of this caterpillar as it's metamorphosizing into the butterfly is just a pile of goo. And so it has to go through all these struggles, all these trials to grow and to build and transform itself, reinvent itself. And it's probably painful. I don't know. I've never talked to a butterfly, but it's hard for this, and it struggles and struggles. And I've heard of times where somebody saw that happening, and so they could see this butterfly was just about ready to get out, but it was struggling, and so they actually tried to pull, the covering off of it, and it killed the butterfly because the butterfly hadn't worked hard enough yet at it to actually have the strong enough wings to take off and fly. So sometimes when we're in those, I just want you to think you're getting your training muscles on, your training wings on, and this is a time when you're going forward. And I think some of the hardest times in our lives are actually the times that we've grown the most, we've been strengthened the most, and we're out there stronger than ever now because of that. And I know I've certainly experienced that. But it says, we delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve its beauty. And isn't that the truth? But think about yourself. Think about your loved ones. Sometimes there's a struggle there, but look at what comes out of it. Struggles, that we have, getting out of bondage, fear, not feeling good enough about ourselves, but those are all important. And another thing that happens a lot of times when we do have that metamorphosis, we do transform, is, okay, what's going on with those people around me, family, friends, the job I have maybe. So what happens when you get your wings? And I love this here. It says, when she transformed into the butterfly, the caterpillars, which would be family and friends maybe, spoke not of her beauty, but of her weirdness. They wanted her to change back into what she always had been, but she had wings. So again, sometimes the people that we're around, those that are familiar to us, and a lot of times that includes friends, may want us to stay in that. And no, and then so that's, oh, you're weird, what are you doing? But no, they saw her as weird. And this applies to men or women both, but no, that was the beautiful, awesome butterfly. So when you get your wings, you've overcome, you've achieved, and you've gone forward and are going forward in your life. Sometimes we're afraid to change because of what is familiar. Well, I don't know what's out there. I don't know if I'll have any friends. I don't know what my family's going to think. And so we stay in what's familiar. And again, I want to just encourage you, go ahead and change. Change to what you were meant to do, what you were meant to be. People change for two reasons. Either they have learned enough that they want to change now and they want to go forward, or maybe they've been hurt enough that they know now they have to go forward. Okay, so those are important times of change. And so, yes, a lot of times it is scary to change, maybe to go try for a new job that we've never tried before, but we'd love to, maybe move out of town, move somewhere else, and not have the crazy buddy friends again, but some different friends. So a lot of times we're afraid, but we can do it afraid. We always can. A life or career goal that does not resonate with you. You don't want to do what someone else expects you to do. Sometimes parents, it's probably more fathers with their sons, but anyway, sometimes parents will go, no, you have to be a sports jock. You have to do this particular thing, but they're really trying to live vicariously through you. Or could it be sometimes parents, especially probably more women, and want their daughters to be in pageants, which I was, so I'm not knocking that at all. It's a good time of growth, but that what they want to do is they wish they had done it. So sometimes people, especially parents or teachers or whatever, will say, well, you need to do this, but they're really trying to live their life through you. So always be aware of that and what's going on, whose expectations these are your desires or someone's expectations, because you need to be you and what you're good at and what you're special at. And I've shared this story a couple of times, but for those who hadn't seen it before, I have a friend who, her ex-husband now, but is a doctor, and he came over from Cuba when he was about 12, and he could not speak any English, of course. And so he went to school, and the school counselor said, hey, you need to find a good labor job to do as you get out of school. And of course, he did not let that set in there, because sometimes the thought will set in here so deep that we can't get it out. And so we do what someone kind of prophesied that we would do. And no, he didn't. So many years later, he's working in the emergency room at a hospital, and guess who comes in? This counselor who told him to have some type of labor job, but yet this guy was the doctor who treated the counselor, and he let him know that he was the one that he told that to. And of course, I thought that was pretty funny, because that's what happens a lot of times, and we can't allow that to be. And so J.R. Martinez, some of you have seen him before. He's a veteran. He was on Dancing with the Stars. Awesome man. He had been badly burned. I believe it was in Iraq in the war. And yet he had to learn how to accept himself. And he said, you can't change what's going on around you until you start changing what is within you. And that is so, so, so important, to change what's within us. And a lot of times that takes a lot of work. It takes changing our thoughts to what is good, what is important. But you know, he's married, he has a baby, so he didn't let that stop him like so many other people. And there's another one, you know, and it talks about when you're comfortable in your skin, even your flaws look beautiful. And once you've embraced your flaws, no one can use them against you. And so sometimes people will do that. A lot of people are bullied because other people, and you see those, you know, America's Got Talent. Some of these absolutely incredibly talented people were bullied as kids, or maybe still are being bullied because they're young. And it's like, whoa, no, no, no. And I've seen people, no arms, no legs, scars, vitiligo, where their skin is like different colors, so many things. But it's like once they embrace who they are, nobody can ever, ever bully them again. Not really, because these people know who they are. Nick Vujicic, again, he was born with no arms and legs, always bullied. I mean, he's, you know, short because he has no arms or legs, and he has just one little flipper fin that would have been grown out from a leg, and that's it. And he wanted to commit suicide when he was a little boy because, you know, he had a very, very, very tough life. But now he's married to a beautiful woman. He has 2 children. And he's an international speaker, motivating people, inspiring people that set your mind to it no matter what has ever happened, and go for it. So think about that. You know, our attitudes will make us or break us. And so, yes, we need to get back and dust our knees off. And I saw this thing, this paper that was actually, teachers had used this to try to get the kids to think ahead a little bit when they go through struggles and when they go through trials. And so at the top of it, it says, this kid will go far in life. That's the title of the paper. And then it says, fill in the solutions. The directions are, read each of the problems and come up with the solution for each one. Okay? You know what the first question was that they had to come up with a solution for? The problem was, you fell on the playground and scratched your knee. Ouch. What was the solution somebody wrote down? Get up and deal with it. And I thought, isn't that awesome? Yeah, you fell down, you got hurt. What do? Like I've always said, get up and deal with it and go forward. Never stay in the same spot where you've been. Go forward. And so I remember seeing this one, it's called a Queenism. And it says, she decided that every time she walked out her door, she was going to say to herself, and I want you to do this as well, no matter what happens today, it's going to be a grand adventure. And I'm the bold, brave woman who's going to enjoy it. You bold, brave man as well. You're going to get out and enjoy it no matter what happens, because I'm bold, I'm brave, and I can stand up to it, and I can go forward. So I always think about that. There's a little conglomeration of quotes here, and it says, never quit. If you stumble, get back up. What happened yesterday no longer matters. Because again, today's the day of a new beginning. Every day it is. Today's another day, so get back on track and move closer to your dreams and goals. You can do it. And there's so many stories I've read before, but I remember a few years back, the lady that was Miss Nebraska, when she was at the Miss America pageant, I don't know exactly what happened with her dress, whatever, but it was one of those embarrassing moments. And somehow when she turned a certain way, you literally saw her underpants. And I mean, yeah, that sounds kind of strange, but you did. And this was on the National Miss America pageant. I mean, and it was on the news, and can you imagine how everybody made comments about her, especially the competition, everybody watching it? How many people would have been absolutely devastated? Oh, my one shot at Miss America, and look what happened. They saw my underwear. Oh. But what she did was she said, I'm not letting that define me. And she kept going. She tried to ignore it. She wasn't going to, always make a big deal out of it. She just moved on from that embarrassment. And that's what we need to do, is move on. There was a lady once I thought was so funny. I met her when I was speaking at an international conference in Kentucky, and this lady was from Australia, and she was actually a construction science engineer. And she was scheduled to speak at a conference and actually be one of the conference speakers, telling a total big conference room full of men, she was the only woman, some things that she had to teach them on, instruct them on. So when she was flying, you know, clear across the country into the United States, she was wearing a funny little casual outfit, a little bit of her abdomen showed, and she was wearing pink pants that said Foxy on the back. Well, guess what? Her luggage got lost. And so what happened to her then was that she had to talk to these all men on stage, construction science, and every time she turned around to use a whiteboard in her pink sweats, it said Foxy across her backside. And all of us just started laughing, but she took it in stride. She thought, nope, okay, so I have the wrong clothes on because mine got lost. I know who I am. I know what I'm doing. I have information to teach them, to share with them, and so I'm doing it. So think about that, and I'll just close with this. Life is not waiting for the storm to pass, but it's about dancing in the rain. And so when you stumble, not if, but when you stumble, make it a part of the dance. Put your raincoat on. What is a raincoat? It's a protective device. It's positive confessions, supportive friends, neighbors, relatives, inspirational tapes, whatever it is that will protect you and cover you. So put on that raincoat, get back in the dance, and just go forward in that. So we'll continue on next time. I just wish you all the best in the world, and know that you are awesome. Go forward. Goodbye, and I will see you next time.